My name is Irapoyam, Associate Professor, Government College for Women, Kolam. Hello, my dear students. Continuation of this video session number 7. It belongs to Bangalore North University, chapter Electrochemistry 1, 5th semester, paper 6. Today's subject is Debye theory and its postulates, and another one is Arrhenius theory limitations. Arrhenius theory limitation. So after completing this session, you have to know Arrhenius theory postulates and what are its demerits, that is nothing but limitations. Debye theory postulates, and from these two, so you have to know what you mean by asymmetric effect and electrophoretic effect. So for this, it requires limitations. What are the limitations of Arrhenius theory and postulates of Debye? So modification of Arrhenius theory, Debye has considered some postulates for strong electrolytes. See here, first you have to learn this limitation of Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation. So the postulates of Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation, we have studied in earlier standards, I think maybe in the second PUC. So their first postulates is when electrolyte is dissolved in aqueous solution, it split up into two or more particles or ions, charged particles or ions, and the process is known as ionization. That is the postulate of Arrhenius theory you have studied in second year PUC. But here limitation for that one is this theory fails to explain the dissociation of electrolyte takes place in solution. That means when electrolyte is dissolved in aqueous solution, it split up into charged particles called ions, and the process is known as ionization. But it does not explain how and why ionization takes place. Does not Second one is this theory is applicable for weak electrolytes only. First one is how and why ionization takes place in solution is not explained clearly. That is why this theory fails to explain the dissociation of electrolyte takes place in solution. Next one is this theory is applicable for only weak electrolytes only. So here also you have to consider assumptions. According to the Arrhenius assumption, the ionization of an electrolyte is reversible. Ionization of electrolyte is reversible. This is applicable for only weak electrolytes but not with strong electrolyte. Strong electrolyte is the one which can completely ionization takes place. There is no equilibrium. So that is means that assumption now here one of the limitation. This theory is applicable for only weak electrolyte. First one is it fails to explain the dissociation of electrolyte in solution. That means it does not explain how and why ionization takes place. Second one is this theory is applicable for only weak electrolyte. That means ionization is reversible. So that is applies for weak electrolyte, not with strong electrolyte. Next, number 3, this theory fails to explain interionic forces of attraction in concentrated solution. Say in concentrated solution the ions are more, there definitely there is interionic forces of attraction, so he has not considered. So number 4, this theory does not take into consideration the role of solvent in the ionization of electrolytes. So here also when solvent, what is the role of solvent ionization takes place is not considered. So number 5, this theory does not explain the conductance of fused electrolytes. He observed that conductance of an electrolyte even in fused but is not properly explained in fused state how conductance takes place. Number 6 is that this theory, heat of mixing of strong electrolytes should be zero. That means he has considered that the heat of mixing of two strong electrolytes should be zero, that is delta H is equal to zero. But accordingly, when two strong electrolytes are mixing, the mixing total volume and enthalpy will be increases or volume will be reduces. But this is another disadvantage or the limitation of Arrhenius theory. Once again, I will tell you what are the limitations of Arrhenius theory. Arrhenius theory fails to explain the dissociation of electrolyte takes place in solution. This theory applicable for weak electrolytes only. This theory fails to explain interionic forces in concentrated solution of electrolyte. This theory does not take into consideration the role of solvent in the ionization of electrolyte. This theory does not explain the conductance of fused electrolytes. This theory, heat of mixing of strong electrolytes should be taken as zero. Then to improve this Arrhenius theory, another theory we call it as Debye-Huckel theory. This theory is based on the assumption that strong electrolytes are completely dissociated into ions. The absolute deviation from ideal behavior are due to electrical interaction between the ions. If a solvent have a dielectric constant, the electrostatic force of attraction between the ions will be small. If the solution is diluted, the electrostatic force of attraction between the ions is weak due to the distance between the ions. In case of solvents having a low dielectric constant or high molar concentration, the interionic forces of attraction between the ions is high. In such case, ionization may not be complete, as oppositely charged ions are very close to each other. So according to Debye-Huckel theory, for strong electrolytes only, consider only strong electrolyte, the increase in equivalent conductance in dilution is due to the increase in the mobility of ions, not with the dissociation. So that means dissociation is not responsible for increase in the equivalent conductance, only it increases in the conductance due to the mobility. Similarly, decrease in the equivalent conductance of strong electrolyte, increase in the mobility with increase in concentration is due to the mutual attraction of oppositely charged ions. The interionic effects play an important role in the conductivity of electrolyte. So that means in spite of, we assume that in spite of complete ionization, the lambda C is always less than that of lambda infinity. That means equivalent conductance at particular concentration is always less than that of lambda infinity at infinite dilution. So from this, according to Debye-Huckel, there are why in concentrated solution the equivalent conductance decreases is due to the two factors. Decrease in the equivalent conductance is due to increase in concentration. So there are two factors are responsible. So one is asymmetric or relaxation effect. In asymmetric effect, each ion in an electrolyte solution is surrounded by an ionic atmosphere of oppositely charged ions. Each ion in an electrolyte solution is surrounded by ionic atmosphere of oppositely charged ions. So take example, a positively charged ions are surrounded by an atmosphere of negatively charged ions. Similarly, negatively charged ions are surrounded by atmosphere of positively charged ions. In presence of electric field, the ion present in the solution move towards the respective electrode, that is opposite electrode. The central positive ion will tend to move towards the cathode and oppositely charged ionic atmosphere move towards the anode. As a result, symmetry of ionic atmosphere is destroyed. Symmetry of ionic atmosphere. As long as the ionic atmosphere is symmetrical, it will exert a uniform attraction on central ion from all possible direction, and the net effect is zero because in all the direction uniform. In case of distorted, that means the ion moves one direction and ionic atmosphere moves another direction, that is called distorted ionic atmosphere. The force of attraction becomes more prominent on the moving central ion. This is the figure. In the first figure, the central positive ion is surrounded by the equal in all direction it is surrounded. When electric field is applied, the central positive ion move towards the opposite electrode. So definitely there is a distortion in the ionic atmosphere. Therefore, it will experience a backward pull or a retarding force which decrease the mobility of the ions. That means the positive ion in one direction, the surrounding ions in the opposite direction. Definitely there is a retarding or decreases the mobility of the ions and the equivalent conductance decreases. The backward pull on the central ion is known as asymmetric effect, as it is due to the lack of symmetry of ionic atmosphere. Asymmetric effect arises due to the lack of symmetry of the ionic atmosphere. Once the ionic atmosphere is destroyed, a finite time is required to rebuild another ionic atmosphere. This dissociation and formation of a new ionic atmosphere, this definite time is known as relaxation time, asymmetric effect, or also relaxation time. So that means once it disappears, ionic atmosphere, after some time it will appear. The dissociation and appearance, there is a time lag. That time lag, you call it as a relaxation time. This time of relaxation is considered to explain the retardation of moving central ion. This effect is also known as a relaxation effect. In addition to this, why the conductance decreases? So that is explained asymmetric effect. Another factor is electrophoretic effect. In addition to asymmetric effect, the other factor which retards the mobility is electrophoretic effect. According to this, the ionic atmosphere of central ion is associated with solvent molecule. That means the molecule will be hydrated or solvated. In case of water, the ionic atmosphere is associated with the water of hydration. Since the ionic atmosphere is oppositely charged with respect to central ion, there is a tendency of ionic atmosphere moving in one direction, opposite to central ion is moving another direction. There is a friction between the solvated molecule and the central ion. But ionic atmosphere moves with the solvent molecule, thus cation migrates towards the cathode while anion migrates towards the anode. This counter moment having a retarding influence on the mobility of central metal ion. This is an additional force, further decreases the conductance of the electrolyte. That means electrophoretic effect. The central positive ion is solvated molecule in one direction. The central ion is one direction. As a result, the retarding the mobility of the ions, hence decreases the conductance. From this, what you observe from the summary of this session is so what are limitations of Arrhenius theory? That means drawbacks of Arrhenius theory. That means you know the postulates of Arrhenius theory. First you assume, then you find out what are the drawbacks or the limitations of Arrhenius theory. Then to modify this one Arrhenius theory, Debye theory, some postulates he has considered only for strong electrons. Even though strong electrolytes, the equivalent conductance is decreases. Then you observe that decrease in the conductance with higher concentration is due to only two factors. That factor is asymmetric effect and electrophoretic effect. So that means summary of this session is Arrhenius theory limitations studied. Debye theory has modified the Arrhenius theory. He has considered only for strong electrolytes. Then he observed that or decided so why the decrease in conductance in even though strong electrolyte dissociation takes place, there are two factors are responsible, that is asymmetric effect and electrophoretic effect. This is the summary of this session. So from this session I will ask some simple questions. This first one is Arrhenius theory is applicable only for So that means both assumptions and limitations from this you can easily find out for this question answer. One is strong electrolytes, second one is weak electrolytes, both A and B, and D, none of the above. So in the limitations I explained here, it is Arrhenius theory is applicable only for weak electrolytes. That is the answer for this question is B, that is weak electrolytes. Arrhenius theory is applicable for only weak electrolytes. Next question is the heat of mixing of two strong electrolytes according to Arrhenius theory. What happens when heat of mixing of two strong electrolytes? So that means heat of mixing, that is the neutralization. The two strong electrolytes are mixing, the heat will be liberated, that is exothermic reaction. The delta H cannot be 0. The delta H cannot be, but he assumed that delta H will be 0. Answers for this question, there are 4 answers as given. A is delta H is equal to 0, B is delta H greater than 0, C is equal to delta H less than 0, none of the above. So simply you can easily can tell delta H, heat of mixing of two strong electrons according to Arrhenius, A is the answer, that is delta H is equal to 0. In asymmetric effect, question number 3, at high concentration conductance. So in asymmetric effect, at high concentration, what is its conductance? Here also there are 4 answers are given. You have studied asymmetric effect and electrophoretic effect. Both the cases at a higher concentration, so conductance will be decreases. The 4 answers: A is decreases, B is increases, C is no change, D is none of these. For this question, answer is decreases. A is the answer. Asymmetric effect at high concentration, conductance is decreases. So next question is electrophoretic effect. Electrophoretic effect is due to the, here also 4 answers as given. One is A is a dissociation, B is a solvation, C is a hydration, and D is none of these. So in this session I explained with what you mean by electrophoretic effect. The ions will be solvated, that means it's surrounded by the water molecule. So water molecule means the water molecule is one direction and solvated molecule in another direction. So this effect is due to answers for this is solvation. B is the answer. In asymmetric effect, when electric field is applied, the central positive ion move towards. Very simple question. Here also 4 answers. A is cathode, B is anode, C is does not move, D is none of the above. In asymmetric effect, when electric field is applied, the central positive ion move towards opposite direction. That is A is the answer, that is towards cathode. So for this session, for some reference books are given. So thank you. This is the end of the session 7.